Okay, here we are. we are, we are here. Welcome, everybody. This is The Real and Rod. I'm Lynn Serrano.
And I'm Brian, non-matchmaker Kelm.
Yeah. And we'll be right back after this, if I can find what we're doing here. Wait a second. Our intro's here somewhere. Yeah, there. Well, as we always do. Hi, Brian.
Hello.
As we always do, we start a little conversation in the back, and then we just start here. And I was just having interesting conversation with some travelers yesterday, and then I just know that Brian is going to be traveling, and he's asking me what topics are going on, and I want to talk about little Brian here as far as he's going to be traveling again, and he went to. It's weird because I put together that you did go to San Juan, which is where my family's from, Puerto Rico, and then now you're going to Spain. So there's like a Latino traveling theme you got going on here. So I'm gonna pick your brain as far as traveling. What's got you traveling, and what's been going on with you traveling, Mister?
I would say in short, it's the power of relationships, nurturing them, developing them, taking action without any potential response or without any reward, right? You just nurture the people that I went to Puerto Rico with. The guy in charge, I've known him for 20 years when he was a greenhorn in the industry, and we've overcame quite a bit at no fault of my own. Like in 2008 with an economy crash, all events were dissolved, and then in 2020 we did an event right before the health crisis happened. And so it's difficult to not blame yourself, but also the reality of it was nothing I did, right? And it's hard to take when those events don't come in and you're wondering why. But the truth of the matter is that it's the nurturing of those relationships for nothing more than to show your humanity is what got me to where I'm at. And it's always been a bucket list to do a wedding or a corporate event out of the United States in a foreign country. And there's a lot of quotes about you're the 20 years to become an overnight success or whatever. And I'm a firm believer in that. But you just keep doing what you do. But you're not doing it for anything. You're doing it for an opportunity, and then hopefully those opportunities grow on a bigger stage.
Well, this is really cool because you were picking on me as far as what topic, and I really didn't want to give you too much topic information because this topic about what I'm bringing up it's got a lot of meat and potatoes because you're going out of your comfort zone. Like, oh, yeah. I don't think you know any Spanish, right?
Nope.
And you went to Puerto Rico, you're going to Spain, and you're going out of Puerto Rico's not out of the country because it's part of the United States and people do speak English there too. Right. But what I'm trying to get to now, you're going to Spain. And the thing is like, you went from not traveling to traveling, mm-hmm. and you're getting out of your comfort zone. And those are things that I want to point out to people. And you're going, and you're not putting a list of these are the reasons why I can't go or I don't want to go. You're going and you're doing it and you're getting out of your comfort zone. And that's what I want to, and I've met some people at the hotel in the last few days, and it's just the things that are going on. It's just to see people getting out of their comfort zone and doing things instead of getting out of your own way to do things. It's just, I love when I see that.
Right.
And so seeing the trend that you're going to somewhere else to do something, I just think that that's an important topic for people to see, that even if you go out of town or you're just mixing up life and mixing up what you normally do to do something a little different, that's an important little topic to talk about.
And I think too is that if people know me, which you do, and other people know me, it's just like you would, in my opinion, you would never get to this place if there's a sense of entitlement there. You got to be fully humble. You got to have a servant's mind, right? You're in the grind every day. It doesn't matter where you go. There's still business at hand to achieve and to develop, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't change no matter the destination. There's still an outcome. There's still a set of actions that need to take place, and that doesn't change no matter what stage it's on, right? And for them to, I've known, like I mentioned, I've known the guy in charge for 20 years, and he's grown, and now he's a senior vice president. And it's we've never lost touch, but it's like, when you have something strong, is that you can go any amount of time and just pick up where you left off. That's the kind of relationship that we have. But the game faces on regardless of where it is. And I think that if there was ego or there's entitlement there, somebody's going to glorify the opportunity without actually doing the work. You know what I mean? They glorify it before they leave, but who knows if the outcome and the results are going to be what they're known for.
Right. And what I was going to say is, just like I was helping somebody out with, how to check into where they were going, and TSA and boarding passes and stuff. Even if you're concerned about things, there's measures you can take to have plan A, B, and C.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give a prime example. I mean, there's people that have their cell phones to have their boarding passes. You can print them out the old way, okay? Because now it costs you, if you go into the kiosk, they charge you, or customer service or whatever. But you can also screenshot your boarding pass. You can also download it onto your wallet, whether it's iPhone or Google, Google Wallet or whatever. But you can have that. That's paper is A, B is your Google Wallet, and C is your, screenshot in your photo. And then the problem is if you don't have your phone charged, or if you lose your phone, charge. I mean, so there's just different things you can do to feel more secure in what you're doing. But find the ways to feel secure what you're doing, to still do what you're doing, and memorize phone numbers of where you're going and what you're doing, because you can lose the phone, you can lose the paper, you can lose these things. But secure your way to still be able to do what you're doing. Don't cripple yourself by saying, well, what if?
And I think too is that, as I look at the world and whatnot, is that obviously we have to watch our dollars and stuff like that, but also though you have to fully invest in without reservation. Invest, like I've spent probably 5 months ever since I found out about this, getting my travel bag together. But we're not talking like a temporary thing. We're talking something that's fully loaded with packing cubes of clothes and all of that, where I invested dollars in it, because it's like, okay, if this is the last one I do with them, I'm just saying, like, worst case scenario, it was well worth the investment, because I'm not going to have to worry about packing a suitcase, because it's all there, And so it's pretty much like duplicating what I have. But at the same time, though, I don't want to be picking and choosing, like, okay, what clothes did I take with me? No, at a moment's notice, because like months ago, when I did the first one back with the company back in September, it was pretty much like a test event, if you will.
Right.
The guy in charge knew that I could do the work, but his team didn't, because I never worked with him before. And 2 weeks later, they threw me an event in Aruba, but I couldn't go because I didn't have a passport. So I don't ever want there to be any reason not to, unless I just can't get a flight or something happens in the world, right? And so I guess what I'm saying is that where most people are, like, given in the world and given the volatile situation we have going on with many different things, I think some people retract versus open up.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's countless stories about people, businesses that when things got tight, they went all in on themselves and invested the dollars because they saw something that they weren't willing to give up on themselves. And then sure enough, after things did turn around, they're far ahead of everybody else because they bet on themselves. And that's something that I find that will easily surpass people over time. When people are retracting, making an investment in themselves or buying the necessary things, I don't need the headaches. I got enough going on where I can just grab my suitcase. I got an inventory sheet that's laminated. I know exactly what's in here. I didn't have to pull anything from anywhere else. And I just need to know when and where, and I'll get myself there. Right. And that's really where my mindset has went to over the past 5 months to prepare for this opportunity.
Right. Yeah. Being prepared. I mean, even Glenn Morshower always talks about that. You got to be prepared. If you're not prepared for it, then, hey, Jackie, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. And I love you. And so, that's the part of life. If that's, if you're looking to travel or if you're looking to do something, if you're not prepared for it, then you're not expecting it to happen. Then you're not expecting it
And
to.
and I almost gamified it almost to be like, okay, what do I need? Backups included, clothes, and have a fun game with how much can I pack in such a small place that it's like depending on the airport, depending on, obviously the bigger airlines have affiliates and all of that, where it's like, okay, yes, they fly underneath the airline flag, but the restrictions might be different,
Right.
especially if you're going like, I know that there's a few affiliates on my way over to Spain where they're contracted through the airline I'm going with, but they're not owned by them, right? They just partner with planes or whatever, and they might have different rules. So, is it a pain in the butt? Sure, it is, because I reviewed it last night. But I'm like, I don't want there to be surprises, and I
Right.
think that that's a part of the process too. Is that you visualize it happening, and then you anticipate things that and obviously there needs to be an open space for things that you don't anticipate, but you prepare as much as possible. And and we're not talking just about the event, we're talking about the whole experience. And I've actually liked it because I've been able to make those financial investments in the tools I need or whatever.
Yeah.
I've got a new suitcase, a hard shell, coming tomorrow because the
Yeah.
one I just got I didn't really care for. So that playing that game, but it's also a project, that this isn't a short-term thing. This is long-term, that I'm going to
Right.
do this once and I'm going to do it thorough. And I think make the necessary investments.
Oh
Don't,
yeah.
and I get it. Do I have millions of dollars in the bank? No. But it's like, if it's worthwhile, the money and the reasoning will show up.
The important thing too is the investment in time to be early, the investment of time of being open to whatever is going to happen. There's maybe delayed. Well, then you can do emails, or you can do this, or you can do, you can read a book, bring an extra book that you really want to read, that are page turners, that you hope that you have some downtime, to read or catch up, or, do catch up work or whatever you got to do.
Hmm.
I'm just saying that, look at that as oh wow, I've got the opportunity to take care of doing this or that. But because people they have high expectations of things, and then they're let down from that. So don't have, expect how that goes.
I think
Expect the
that
unexpected.
I think that when it becomes like, and obviously you'll resonate with this. I mean, even as a stage manager, but in the performing arts, where you know your material so much, but you just need to leave a little part of mysteriousness, that you're
Oh yeah.
fluid with it, but you don't venture off into the robotic, memorization with no
Yeah.
emotion, no feeling, and your self-expression goes away because you
Yeah.
reviewed it so much. But in doing that, you became more of a robot than you did with a person that has a personality and a style to deliver whatever it is.
Yeah, you definitely got to role play with the punches
Yep.
and realize that this is for the greater good of you. I mean, like, people get so frustrated and seep into and we've talked about this many times in the show, but it's worth repeating, is sometimes I think there's a blessing when something doesn't go right,
Yep.
and there's a delay, and they say, okay, well, you take, $1,000 to take the next flight, and whatever, and if you can, take the voucher and take the delay, and come to find out those people are stuck in a hub like Denver. I didn't, and you want to take the flight, or whatever intuition you take, and whatever you find out, it's a greater good, and it works out in your benefit. When
Right.
something goes wrong and they apologize and you get credit for it, or whatever goes on, sometimes it's for the greater good. It works out for you,
Yeah. When
for the inconvenience you get, paid back or compensated for. So what,
Well, and just like anything in theater, anything in performance, the show must go on, right?
Yep.
You know, People that train all their life for an opportunity don't waste that opportunity.
Yeah, take
And
it.
it doesn't matter if they're not feeling well, if they get ill, if they whatever. They rise
Yeah.
to the occasion, they deliver when they have to.
Right. So, and sometimes it's those days or times that you really don't want to perform or
Oh yeah.
show up that are the best ones. You're like, man, I thought this was going to be the crappiest show or the worst time ever. And it's like, because you're just impressed by yourself or the performance or whatever. You're like, because you let those inhibitions go. You let the fact that, okay, I'm here, whatever's going to happen. You really just, you let go the attitude and say, so what, I'm just going to show up. And
Right.
showing up was the best thing you could have done, because it was the best thing.
Well, Well, and there's two different sides to that. There's the performer side, and then there's the audience side.
Right.
You know, is that we could deliver a lackluster performance, but they thought it was the best thing they've ever seen.
Yeah, that too. You're like, really?
So then how could the reviews or the outcomes be so opposite? Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
a high achiever is going to be harder on themselves than anybody else ever will be.
Right.
But an
Yeah.
audience, though, it's like, okay, we don't know the sample size of the shows they've been to, how many, all of that. We just know that they're here on this day, in this moment in time, to witness whatever it is that you're there to perform,
Hmm.
and that's it.
It's the
But
perspective.
but I think it's also humanity. You know, if it was just if you don't connect with people, it doesn't matter how good you are as a performer if you don't connect with people. Kind of like if you're in a conversation, if you don't speak conversationally,
Yeah.
it's just words, you know. And the more you can relate to people, and the more that the more that you give them visuals about somebody in their life that they perceive you as, it connects the dots for them and fills in like, oh, this person looks like so and so, or they talk like this person.
Yeah.
And the
So let
more
me
people humanizes the experience.
so let me ask you. So you're leaving when, and when are you coming back?
Next Sunday, the 2 weeks,
Third.
so less than 2 weeks.
Okay. So you're leaving not the fourth or not the third, but the following week after that.
Yeah, and
Okay.
the 9th, I think it is. Yeah.
Okay. So then you won't be around on that Monday. So
Nope.
all right. So
Nope.
cool. So you'll
I'll
be
be
gone for
flying
a week,
overnight
or?
from a Sunday to a Monday noon, I think it is when I
Oh,
arrive. It's an
okay.
overnight
Okay.
flight.
So we'll be gone for 2 weeks then,
Yeah.
as far as for Mondays, but we'll have to hear all about it.
Actually, just one. Actually, just one.
Okay. All right. Well, then that's exciting, though. That's exciting for you. Are you trying to learn any Spanish
No,
just in case?
no.
See, he's not even worried. He's probably going to get one of those apps that, he can talk to.
It's called
whatever.
Google Translate. We're good.
Yeah, there you go. See, we got apps to work, like he already has solutions. He's not even worried about that. You see, he's already
Because if you
prepared.
worry about it, you get all stressed out over something that isn't even here yet.
Now, have you noticed how much you've changed in that? You probably used to worry about things like that, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you've found tools to help you not worry about things like that.
Yeah, if anything, one thing that's helped me is make a game out of it. How much fun can this be? But also, though, it's like learning it once in the most thorough way possible. So then the next time it's like repeat.
There you
You know,
go.
like all the stuff I'm doing right now to check airlines and do this and doing that. It's like, okay, there might be little distinctions here and there between airlines, but it's like the one time that you learn it, because I have my chosen airline that I like to go with because they make it so simple, but that is only in the continental US, right? If they even fly there.
Yeah.
But it's like having an inventory, having a plan, that's developed and on paper about like, okay, here are the measurements, here's what I can take. And I just make the necessary adjustments. So then the next time I look at it, I don't have to change something or alter something because I forgot.
Yeah.
I want this to be as seamless as possible, and I'd rather do the work up front. It's kind of like the analogy of cutting down a tree, right? If you have 1 hour, spend 55 minutes sharpening the blade to make the cutting down the tree the 5-minute piece versus the other way around. That's the kind of the way I approach all of this. That I'd rather do the work, the arduous and sometimes meticulous work up front, so that when I'm in transit, there are no surprises.
Right.
I'm not going to be rejected my bag because it's an inch and a half over the size that it'll take to fit in the airplane.
Yeah.
And obviously stuff happens, right? People
Right.
might be in a bad mood. It might fit legally, but then they're having a bad attitude or something, right? Well, okay. But I like the game about like how little stuff do I need to function for 4 days in a foreign country. That's
There,
the game I'm playing.
there you go.
And it's fun because that will not only, like even every backpack I take with me, now I got like a change of clothes. You know what I mean? I know it might be ridiculous to be like, I'm going for a day, but I got to change of clothes, but it's like, you just never know.
Yeah, because if they lose your luggage, you're like, I got a pair of clean underwears in my backpack.
And also, though, as a frame of reference, I don't check bags. I only
Yeah.
do carry-ons. So,
There you go.
because, and obviously then if I did carry on, none of my sensitive stuff is going to go in the check bag, because if I lose it, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So then having like a suit coat, You know, the color black is very good because you know what I mean? Like, you know, dryer sheets and
Yep.
body wipes and all these kinds of things
Yep.
really come in handy when you're thinking about, oh my God, where'd my luggage go? But
Yeah.
you got business to cover.
Yep.
And so there's just a lot of stuff I picked up on, and it's amazing how it all comes together.
Yeah.
You know, everything you read, everything you take notes on, everything that you put into, you know, in a notebook or an idea book, it comes to fruition, and it's just so great because it just magnifies the experience.
Yeah, for sure. You don't have to worry about the minutia of all that. When you get there, you're spending quality time on what you need to
Right.
and
Well,
what you're doing.
and you see you in little bits you see the achievement of what you're doing, not only individually but collectively as a group.
Yeah.
You know, in working with a team. Like last Friday, I was with the team, and I had to go all over, you know, Chicago and then into all over Wisconsin. And it was like we sat down for 2 hours, and it was intense because we're going file by file by file, screenshot by slideshow, you
Wow.
know, slide one at a time all the way throughout, so there are no surprises.
Wow.
And it took a little bit because there was three of us, but at the same time, you know, just take a breath, follow it, but then look for the patterns, the repetition, and then you
Hmm.
see the flow. And sure enough,
Cool.
that took place by the end of it.
Awesome. Well, Brian, we are out of time like usual. What are we going to talk about? I don't know, but it finishes in 20 minutes. So, but
Good topic, though.
anyhow,
I had no
yeah,
idea. I had no idea you're going to be like, "Hey, let's talk about this." So I'm like, what a clever way of bringing that topic forward.
well, yeah, I always have a mean to my madness.
Oh boy,
Yeah. Just trust me. Let's just talk.
yeah.
Well,
What's our title? No, we'll
don't
figure
worry
it out.
about it. We'll fly through it. As
Yeah,
always, Brian, thank you so much for your wisdom and
no problem.
having a conversation with me. I
Of
appreciate
course,
and love you.
I love you too.
All right. We'll see you next Monday.
Hi, everyone.
Bye.